Eben, you've muted yourself back.
Okay. Yes. Please, can you hear me now?
Yes, we can hear you now.
Okay. Good morning.
Yeah.
Yes. This is my presentation. Um. I arranged the epics in the manner in which I got the information from our stakeholder. So the first epic was the provider portal, the servicer portal, the borrower portal, and the lender portal. I felt they transitioned in that order. So I also went about it that way. So I'll first start with the provider portal. So do that quickly. Okay, so under the provider portal, I have the description being a portal to help providers to initiate loan applications for their clients. And then under that, I have the following stories where I have in the login feature, the loan application process, the incomplete application report, the loan report, the profit report, and then the budget report. Now, we'll begin with the first story. That's the login feature under the provider portal Epic. So over here, I said the user story reads, as a loan applicant, I want the ability to create my username and password so as to be able to start my loan application process. The additional information here gives us a glimpse of what happens before the applicant gets the ability to create the username and password. And it says that the provider representative, which will be the doctor in this case, or the physician or whoever the applicant went to for medical assistance, starts the application process for the applicant by taking some basic information such as the first name, the last name, the email, and then the phone email address and phone number. After which the data is entered into the database and a message sent to the applicant to complete the application process in the form of a text message containing a URL link or an email containing a URL link. So this was the importance of taking the email address and then the phone number earlier. So now, after receiving this, the applicant can now proceed with the application. So given that I am a loan applicant, I can initiate the loan application process by clicking on the URL sent to my phone number or email address. When I enter the URL sent to me to my browser, then I should be directed to a trust page where I can view information such as Diaspora Bank partners with Dr. Joshua Selman of Beben Hospital to provide services to patients. So this lets the applicant know that he's on the right path and this is not a scam. Then I should see a proceed button to go to a page where I'll be asked to create a username and password. Before the patient creates the username and password, the patient will be asked to proceed with the application with some of the phone numbers used redacted. This will help prevent fraudulent persons from gaining access to the system. So in order to do this, the two-factor authentication process will begin where the patient will receive a 6-digit OTP by SMS or email to enter into the field provided. Once this is done, the patient can now proceed to create the username and password. The username, the username shall comprise of a combination of alphanumeric and then B must not exceed 15 characters. The password shall comprise of a combination of one uppercase, one lowercase, some numbers, special character or symbol. The password shall have, the password shall comprise of a minimum of 8 characters and a maximum of 20 characters. After the username and password is done, the patient can proceed with the application. So this story was on how the applicant will create the username and password. So now we proceed to the application itself. Okay, so the story for that is loan application process. Uh, Sorry, come on. Okay, great. All right. So it reads, the user story. As a loan applicant, I want the ability to enter the recommended information so as to be able to start my loan application process. Then the additional information here gives us a prelude to the fact that before he got here, he had an interaction with his physician. Okay, so that's what we have under the additional information. And now we proceed to the acceptance criteria. So given that I'm a loan applicant, I can initiate the loan process by clicking on the URL link sent to my phone or email address. When I enter the URL sent to me into my browser, then I should be directed to a trust page where I can view such information as the diaspora bank partners with Dr. Joshua Selman of Beben Hospital to provide services to patients. Then I should see a proceed button to a page where I'll be asked to enter my username and password created. So that's the difference between this and what I talked about. So from here, you just go straight and then enter your username and password. Now, we proceed to, after entering the correct username and password, a page will open with the application form pre-filled with the patient's first name, last name, phone number, email address. The patient will be asked to enter a 9-digit social security number that will be used by the loan processing officer to determine the FICO score upon which the loan will be approved or denied. This section will not accept alphabets or numbers exceeding 9 digits or below 9 digits. The applicant will then proceed to the next section, which is the patient responsibility amount, which is the amount of money the patient can put down for the procedure. This section will comprise of two fields. Thus, the first field is the total cost of the surgery or procedure as recommended by the provider representatives. The second field will comprise of an empty field for the applicant to enter the amount out of which the recommended amount he or she can pay at that moment. So what this means is that you have the total cost of your surgery, let's say, for instance, being $50,000. Then in the other field, out of that, the patient responsibility amount, how much can you pay out of the 50,000? So the second field will be how much you can pay. So that's what you put there. Then the next story is the interest on the loan shall, sorry, the next acceptance criteria. The interest on the loan shall be 16% of the principal amount, but for applicants who will resort to auto pay as a payment method, they will have their interest at 15%. Said failure on the part of the applicant to honor two successive payments using auto pay will be returned to the initial interest of 16% with previous interest rate of 1% added. So that means if there is a breach in the payment system over a period of time, two successive payments, you breach that agreement, will revert you back to the old interest rate, which was 16%, and then the preceding interest that we gave you, we would add it back. The patient will then proceed to the next field to enter the requested amount that he or she wants from the application process. The next section will comprise of a loan payment plan where the applicant will be asked to fill in the amount he or she can pay and when. This field will comprise of first, a field to enter the amount he or she can pay. Secondly, a drop-down field to choose whether payments can be made weekly, fortnight payments, or monthly payments. The patient will have the ability to add fields to the existing field to increase the installment process. This field will have a total amount paid and then balance remaining section that will automatically add and subtract the installment amount from the requested loan amount till the balance remains zero. The installment field will not allow the applicant to proceed with the application until the field of the total balance shows zero. So what all this means is that in filling the application, you have the ability to add more sections to your installment payment plan. And the system will be integrated in such a way that at the end of the day, the loan amount you've requested should read zero based on the rate and the amount of installments you want to make. Okay. And then 16 said the applicant, sorry, would be asked to choose the payment method that he or she wants to use in the repayments. That's Visa or MasterCard, Zelle, Apple Pay, Android Pay, and then Auto Pay. So the Auto Pay will have the 15% interest rate for those that will go for that. There will be an integrated calendar engine where the applicant can choose a suitable date for the procedure to be done. It must be noted that the procedure date should not exceed 60 days from the date the application was initiated. This will be integrated into the system to prevent picking a date that is more than 60 days from the initial date. The calendar will be synchronized with the schedule of the doctor for the procedure, showing the available dates and times to choose from. This will be there will be a section on the top right corner of the application form for the applicant to upload a recent passport size photograph. Okay, so to explain this section about the calendar, and what it means is that in in order to give you a favorable date that you can choose from freely, we are also concerned about choosing a date that the physician in question will be available to perform the procedure for you. So since he initiated the application and since he's aware of the 60-day rule, he will also the calendar will be integrated into his surgery schedule so that you can choose a date that both of you will be comfortable with, and he will also be available to perform the procedure for you. Now, the applicant would have to tick the check boxes by the following statements to approve of. That's a credit worthiness investigation, a criminal background investigation, certification of authenticity of all information provided in the application. I added this because I felt since they are going to use your social security, your 9-digit social security number to check your FICO score, it will be worth letting you know that something like that will be done. That way, if in case your loan is denied, they make you aware that this was the reason why they put this there. Upon failure to check any of the boxes, the applicant will not be able to proceed with the application. The applicant will be asked to e-sign, where the applicant will enter the full name and email address. There will be a submit button where the applicant will click to submit the application. Before the application is finally submitted, there will be a summary page where the applicant can go through to recheck all the information provided and then proceed to click on the submit application button. So this is the story for the loan application process. We proceed to come on, great. Sorry, guys. Please hurry up. Oh, Jesus Christ. Great. Okay. So we come here. The next one I'll pick before I go to the other epics will be the incomplete application report. Good. So the user story reads, as a provider representative, I want the ability to view all incomplete application reports so that I can adequately monitor the loan application process. So the additional information here talks about what the physician did for the applicant. Now I proceed. Given that I am a provider representative, I can retrieve all incomplete application reports on all individual loan requests made on the provider portal. When I enter the URL diasporabank.com/EL into my browser, then I should go to a page where I can select among the options below. So you have the lender portal, borrower portal, provider, servicer portal. So the provider portal will be selected. Then I select the provider portal and enter my login information to view all incomplete application reports. Provider portal shall allow the representative to generate that's weekly incomplete applications, monthly incomplete application reports, quarterly application reports, and then the yearly incomplete application reports. The provider portal shall be able to have an integrated chat section to get in touch with a loan servicing officer for further clarification. This can be done through a chat initiator, which will consist of a section to select the country, state, branch of loan servicing officer, name of loan servicing officer. Then you click the initiate chat to send a message to begin chat. This chat system should also have the ability to send and receive documents with chat respondent. So I put this in there so that as a provider who helped an applicant with initiate a loan application, you also have the ability to do follow-up with the loan processing officer who will be found at the servicer portal section. So you can, once you enter the country, the state, the branch, and then the name of loan servicing officer, you can do a follow-up on your applicant's loan, and so that you also be informed yourself as a doctor whether the loan application has been approved or denied. So I move on to the next epic. So this time we'll be looking at the servicer portal, those in charge of working on the loan applications after it has left the provider portal section. So I have 5 issues under the servicer portal. Okay, so the first one is the loan report, profit report, incomplete application report, client procedure date report, and then the budget report. So I'll pick a couple of these and then I'll move on to the next one. So it says, so under the loan report for the servicer portal, okay, it reads, the user story reads, as a loan administrator, I want the ability to view all loan portfolios so that I can adequately monitor the loan disbursement process. The additional information here is that all information to be seen by the servicer portal will be derived from the provider portal, since they will be responsible for dealing directly with the loan applicants. So the acceptance criteria, given that I am a loan administrator, I can retrieve loan portfolios on all individual loan requests made on the provider portal. When I enter the URL diasporabank.com/AL into my browser, then I should go to a page where I can select among the options below: lending portal, borrower portal, provider, servicer. So in this case, the loan administrator will select the servicer portal and then proceed to look at the loan reports. Here he can, from the system, he should be able.
I'm going to give you, 1 more minute. I know you've already exceeded by, 4 minutes or so, but I'm going to give you 1 more minute.
Okay, so then okay, let me just give you a summary of everything under the other epics. So I've talked about the provider portal, the servicer portal. So when it comes to the borrower portal, you have 3 epics there. So under the borrower portal, it talks about the summary. We also have, let me get it here. Yeah. Okay. We also have the documents and then the payment system, where he can choose the payment system he wants. The summary gives an update of everything under the application, and then the documents, the ability to upload documents, the ability to print out documents, follow up on the application, and then also check the progress of the application. So that would be for the borrower portal. And then the last one I'll touch on will be the lender portal. So the lender portal are those in charge of the loan disbursement. So they can have the ability to check state level partners, follow up on the loan amounts they've dispersed, how much they dispersed, the outstanding balance. They can also come down to check country level disbursement of loans. They can follow up with the servicer portal guys to know how the whole process is going. So due to time constraints, those who be interested, I could forward it to them to look at the stories under that. Thank you very much.
Okay, all right, thank you. Next.
Hi, everyone. Good morning. So, Here is my project is regarding the Black credit card, and for the Black credit card, we are going to have 4 epic stories. And my epic stories, 4 epics. I don't know why I keep saying epic stories, but I'm gonna have 4 epics, and my epics will be the provider, the borrower, and the lender. The borrower, the lender, and the servicer. It's just too early in the morning, y'all. Bear with me. And for the provider, under my provider, I have about 9 stories. And I have the first one to be the track loan disbursement, the patient lists, the loan disbursement status story, the new application story, the reports on outstanding budgets, profit reports, loan portfolio summary, application summary, and upcoming procedures. Where in a nutshell, the tracking loan disbursement will track all the loans that are given out to patients daily, monthly, quarterly, and yearly, just so they know how much is going out to patients and how much they have left to give out. And the patient list will comprise of the list of all the patients who are coming to the hospital for procedures, those who have already done their procedures, those whose procedures are pending, and those whose procedures are in progress or in process, or however you want to put it. And the next one I would have is a loan disbursement status, where the provider can see the status of the loans that he has disbursed to the customers, patients, whether it is pending, approved, or it has been denied. And I'll also have the new application, where the provider will initiate the application process for the borrower. And then the reports on outstanding budgets, where the provider can also see how much is coming in from the lenders to him, and how much is left for the year for him to distribute to the patients. And I will have the profit report, that is the 20% that the provider will be receiving on every patient he refers to the lenders. And the loan portfolio summary, which will summarize all the loans he has given out to patients, and the application summary, which will also summarize the list of people that have applied and that needs to have the application initiated. And then also the upcoming procedures, patients that to schedule for procedures in the future, like those that are in the pipelines come in. And then for the borrower, I will be touching on the new applications, that is the borrower going in there to finish the application that has already been started by the provider for them, using the link that the provider will send to them. The payment, that is how they are going to, the process they'll go through to pay their loans. And also I will talk about the summary, where the patient or the borrower can go to see the activities of their loan, their balance, their payoff amount, and all those good stuff. And I'll also talk about the documents, which is the documents that the borrower needs to be signing. All documents, including the application, the loan agreement, the interest agreement, the terms, and all that the borrower needs to sign. And also I will also put in there other documents that lenders send into them. And then also I'll go over a login process for the borrowers as well. And when you come to the lender portal, I have for my user stories, application status, loan portfolio, buyout loan, partnered healthcare providers, business report, and then the budget allocation. And for the application status, this is where the lender will go in to see how many borrowers are applying, and which of them were approved when they applied, so they can go ahead and give them the loan. And also the loan portfolio, which will include all the borrowers and how much they owe, how much they have outstanding, and those ones that they will want to give out to other lenders. And which brings me to my next one, which is the buyout loan, where they can collaborate with other lenders to sell out some of their loans to them. And also they will have a user story for the partnered healthcare providers, like how many healthcare providers do they work with, and how much they are giving to them each year, and how much they have exhausted, and who needs to get the highest apportionment and all those good stuff. And also the business report, which will put together all the reports for both the borrower and then the lenders and then the servicer, and also the budget allocation. And pretty much I did the same for the lender, for the servicer. So yeah. Okay, so I'll go back to my provider and then start with my track loan. I'm just going to go over 2 for provider, 2 for the borrower, and then 2 for the lender. And hopefully time will allow me to do the rest. If not, we will just, as I have not really put in everything really together. So everything I've done here is pretty much the bone. I have not really added flesh yet, but it's just me setting it out to come back later to add more flesh to it. So for the loan, for the track loan disbursement, as a patient, I want to have the ability to access the track loan disbursement page on the lender's portal page, so that I can keep track on how much loans have been dispersed to patients. And this is going to be my additional information for each of the stories, and which is going to be the username. So this is the description for how I want the login to be set up. The username shall be alphanumeric, and the username shall not exceed 15 characters. The password shall have a minimum of 8 characters, and it was going to have a minimum of 20 characters. And the password shall have the following: 1 uppercase, 1 lowercase, 1 number, and 1 symbol. And then I'll go to the acceptance criteria. And with the acceptance criteria, these are just the bones, as I said, I have listed, and I will go back in there to make the complete statement about the when and the then. But for now, I'm just listing out what I'm going to build on, okay? And so given that when a provider enter provider.bbc, which is the blackcreditcard.com, into a browser, it must redirect the provider to a login page. And we have the login page. If they haven't signed up yet, they will go ahead and sign up. And if they have already signed up, they'll go ahead and enter their username and password. And the registered provider shall enter a valid username and password. Registered provider shall click on the login button. And once they click on that, a list of features to come up for them to choose from, and they should be able to choose the start a new application or report on outstanding loan or loan disbursement or profit report or patient list. That is all the stories for that. And since we are doing the truck loan, they'll just go ahead and click on the truck loan, and when they click on the truck loan, it should take them to the truck loan disbursement page. And on the truck loan disbursement page, providers shall have the ability to select from the following loan disbursement trackers. They can do the daily loan disbursement tracker, where providers can track daily loan disbursement to patient. Like today, how many patients are on the list? How many patients do we need to initiate application for to start them off? And then also the monthly loan disbursement tracker, where the providers can track monthly loan disbursement. So for this month, how much have we dispersed to patients, and how much do we have left for the upcoming patients? And also the quarterly loan disbursement tracker, where providers can track quarterly loan disbursement to patients. And also, providers shall also have the ability to view all loan disbursement and the time periods. All right. So I'll pick the next one from here. Which is the patient list. Okay, so pretty much is the same here. I say lender. Okay. So pretty much is the same here. I'm still working on that. And as a provider, I want to have the ability to access the list of loan borrowers page on the providers portal, so that I can view all information relating to the borrower. Same additional information, as I said, is going to be for all my stories. So this is the format where how I want the username, how our stakeholder wants the username to be created. The username should be alphanumeric. Username shall not exceed 15 characters, and passwords shall have a minimum of 8 characters and a maximum of 20 characters. And password shall have the following: 1 uppercase, 1 lowercase, 1 number, and a symbol. And given that the provider enter the URL on the page, it should be able to take them to our portal, and they should be able to log in on there. And once they log in on there, they should see all the status that they can choose from, and they should be able to choose the patient list. And once they click on the patient list, it should take them to the patient list page, and they shall have the ability to view all the patients that they are servicing. And once they click on the patient list should display the patient's data, and the data should include their loan ID, their full name, email address, original loan, amounts paid, outstanding amount. And I will move quickly to the borrower. And so the first one I have down here is the new application for borrowers. So as a patient, I want to have the ability to start a new application on the Black Credit Card Borrow Portal, so that I can request for financial assistance for my medical procedure. And I have additional information. There shall be a calendar engine where patients can select the date for their medical procedure. The selected date should not exceed 60 days from the time of application. And also, there's going to be a credit score functionality that will help them immediately know whether they've been approved or denied. And we are going to work with FICO to get the credit score going. And here's my acceptance criteria. With my acceptance criteria, given that a patient has completed their two-step identity verification on the secured page using our provider's link, the patient shall be redirected to the new account application page where they shall require to fill these fields. So once they get on the new account application page, they will use the link that was sent to them by the provider. And once they click on the link, they go through the two-step identification process. Identity verification process, which will then lead them to the half complete application that was started by the provider. So they will already have their first name in there, their last name, their email, and their phone number, and they are going to complete it with the street address, state, city, zip code, and then how much loan they want to request, and then go ahead and hit the submit button. And the patients will enter the amount, hit the submit button, and what happens is that the patient also will select a scheduled date for their medical procedure here. And as we stated up there, it shouldn't exceed 60 days from the time of application on the calendar, and patients shall be able to request for credit check with FICO score at the time of application. So that they know whether they can just move on with the application or not, whether they qualify for the loan or not. And patients shall enter their 9-digit social security number in the credit score field. And once they enter and they hit submit, the patients receive an immediate approval or denial message, just letting them know that, hey, you have been accepted, or hey, you have been denied for the loan that you are applying for. And then I go ahead and share my payment.
I'm going to give you 1.5 minutes.
Okay, I can use that to go through my payment real quick. All right. Okay, so as a patient, I want to have access to the payment page of the borrower portal so that I can select a preferred method to a preferred method to make payments for my loans. And as I said earlier, I'm going to use the same additional information on the characteristics or the how the username login to creating that is going to be. And I have down the username shall be alphanumeric, and I give an example, Nisi 745, and username shall not exceed 15 characters, and yada yada yada. I have everything on there as I have gone through, and the only thing that is added on here is patient must be able to reset their username and password by clicking on the forgot password or username button, which will take them to another page to reset, to receive an email to verify who they are, go through a series of verification process and have their username or password reset. And my acceptance criteria, given that a registered patient enter the borrower dot BBC, which is blackcreditcard.com, into a browser. The registered patient shall be directed to a borrower portal login page. Registered patient shall enter their valid username and password. Registered patient shall click on the login button, and it should take them to a new page where they can see the features available on the borrower's portal, which is the summary, payment documents, new account application, and then the login page. And which they have already logged in. So, and then the registered payments patient shall click on the payment feature, and registered patients shall be redirected to the payment page. And once they are redirected to the payment page, they will see all the payment options available for them, which is going to be the Visa, MasterCard payment, Zelle, Android Pay, Apple Pay, Cash App, and the patient also shall have the ability to set up an automatic payment online using a bank account, their personal bank account or debit or credit card information to set it up. And patient will have the ability to choose a date that payment should be taken out of their bank account. So it could be X date of the month of every month, or X and Y date. And also patient will have the ability to auto pay either weekly, bi-weekly, or monthly. So they can do weekly, which is we can take it from their account 4 times a month, or bi-weekly, we can take it from their accounts 2 times a month, and we can take it once a month, depending on how fast and how quickly the patient wants to get rid of their loan with us. And registered patients also will have the ability to mail in their checks to Black Credit Cards main office using our address 737 Flora Parkway, Northwest Atlanta, Georgia 30022. And there shall be a payoff button where patients can click to see the remaining balance on their loan. Patients shall have the ability to pay in full the remaining loan balance by clicking on the above page, any of the payment options that I have given above. If they want to pay off the rest of their loan, there will be the payoff amount button there for them to click on. And once they click on that, it should be able to display how much balance is left. And if they want to pay now, they can go ahead and click on that and pay now. And registered patients shall fill in all required information after selecting their preferred method of payment, and then they will just make the payment. And registered patients shall also have the ability to select their preferred method of payment in the Black Credit Card Borrowers Portal. So that will be it for today. And
Okay.
yeah.
Whatever that you did not finish, I'll make sure that we have some time. And I know, Eben, you also had a handful of stories that you also did not finish. So I'll make sure that maybe Monday morning or something we can take care of that. All right, Kofi, take us away. I think it's already 6:45. So you have the next 15 minutes to 7, and then we'll end it here. I wanted to touch on some few other ceremony stuff and then the calendar stuff, but we'll take that tomorrow morning. So that's no problem. So Kofi, you have the next 15 up to 7 a.m.
Okay. So Bernice, can you
I'm stopping
stop sharing?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Thanks. Please, I hope you can all see my screen.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. So I have 4 epics. I'm going to start with the provider portal. But then I also want to establish this before I proceed that most of my epics and stories were done before the the recent stakeholder meeting, which happened on Tuesday. So I have worked on some of the changes or the fine tune that came up, and if there is any other that are not done, the team can prompt me. So I'll begin with application initiator as a story. All right, so the application initiator, the story reads, as a doctor, I want to be able to initiate the loan application process so that processing can kick off. And then the additional information, the acceptance criteria reads, this must be accessible to all doctors from ttbank.com/EL. A successful load of this URL should present a list of all 4 portals. Doctors will then click on the provider portal and select application initiator. Sorry for the noise in the background. Doctors should also be able to access from the main website, from portals as a menu item. They can select provider portal and then application initiator. When clicked on application initiator, a new page should appear with fields requiring from the following for the following to be filled. First name, last name, middle name should be optional, email address, telephone number. When a doctor acquired the needed access for the fields, there should be an initiator button to be clicked so that the borrower can receive a text message or an email with a URL or a link that the borrower can click to provide certain vital details in order to get the application process started. When a borrower clicks the URL, another page termed as secure page should be open. On the secure page, borrowers should have a button that says send code, where when clicked or tapped, an OTP should be sent to the phone number and email address provided by the borrower. Given the OTP had been sent, there should be another box on the secure page that will require the borrower to input the OTP for confirmation. The OTP should be a 6-digit code. OTP should be sent within 15 seconds. The secure page should have a link that will direct borrowers to the borrower portal. So that's it for the initiator. And then one important thing I want us to look at before any other thing is the disbursement feature. All right, so that also says, as a doctor, I want to be able to see the amount disbursed so that I can stay within the budget. And then the acceptance criteria risk. This must be accessible to all doctors from ttbank.com/EL. Also, a successful load should present the 4 portals, and then it should also be accessible from the main website portal menu item. The 4th one says, when doctors click on the disbursement menu, they should be redirected to a new page which will show disbursement in a T-ledger table like presentation. On the T-ledger table the total amount of 500,000 should be shown on the debit side with the narration balance received. Amount disbursed should be on the credit side with narrations being the borrower's name. At the end of each financial period, the total amount of credit should be equal to the total amount received on the debit side of the T-ledger account table. Where there are excess, it will be treated as balance carried down to the next financial year. That will be for the disbursements. So let me take you to number of supports. As a doctor, I will want to be able to view the number of people on support so I can monitor progress. The criteria also begins from where to get access to being the ttbank.com/EL or from the main bank's website. So given I'm a doctor, that's a fourth criteria. When I select number of supports, I should be redirected to a fresh page that presents me with a list of borrowers that are on support. The total number of borrowers should be written in a box at the mid-bottom of the screen. The list must be arranged in order by making use of the dates applied. When clicked on the name of a borrower, a new pop-up box should open and display full name of borrower, amount, application date, date.
All right, Kofi, are you there? Well, it looks like we lost you. I guess.
Issue. There should be a where specified could be selected to view details. So the check.
Okay. Yeah, so we lost Kofi here. We all know it's as a result of poor internet, connection in Ghana. So he's been kicked out. He's been kicked out. I want to use the next 7 minutes. Trying to see if it's going to be enough for me to cover all these items here. I'm also waiting for him to see if he'll come back. He'll be able to rejoin. Okay, so looks like he's unable to yeah, he's unable to rejoin. So okay, so let me take the next 5 minutes to just answer questions. Anything that you guys have going on. You have got a question on processes, you got a question on let's take advantage of make use of the time that we have. So question, agile process, whatever. So is there anything else, anything somebody need clarification on, even on this? Yeah, go ahead. Even on this requirement, you can ask anything.
Yeah, can you give us a little bit of feedback? I think the last time we presented, it was you gave us a lot of feedback in the process, which wasn't really so this time. I know because of time. So if
It
you
wasn't
can
because of time, because this time around, you guys, you've learned from your mistakes, right?
Okay.
And so you guys are like improved version of yourself, your own self. You guys are like now an improved version of your own selves, right? So you guys are doing better. There are a few things, that I will point out maybe later on, but I think overall, the success rate or the rate of story completion, I think is good. I believe that the rest of the stuff, as you guys move along, and as you guys learn more, as we learn, as we progress, you guys will begin to get in-depth knowledge about some technical stuff that you need to include in your story writing and acceptance criteria. I think pretty much, that is the only thing left. You have to be depth. Stories are not just stories that you just put out there just because you want to put a story, but can we develop this? Can we code that? Right? So all those things is not going to happen overnight. As you guys learn, as you get depth, as you get, your feet wet and, your hands dirty, you guys will get better at writing qualitative, type of, stories, right? So I'm not going to fool anybody. It's not going to be an overnight, type of magic. And then you guys are great. You guys are good in writing all these things. I believe that the more you do, the more you get better, right? We all know that, say, practice makes a man perfect. So the more stories you write, the more projects that you get your hands on, that is how you become perfect. But as we move along, as you guys, we begin to take different topics, you guys will become essentially, great, because you begin to understand, okay. And as a matter of fact, sometimes you will even look back to your first project and say, oh, then man, I didn't really do the first project. It was really terrible. So sometimes you would have to come back again to your first project and even edit and then add more, or maybe update, some of your sometimes criteria and other things. Because now from your first project to where maybe 30,000 feet that you are now, you know that, oh, now I've learned more. And so when I look back to my beginning days of writing, stories, my first project, you realize that it was terrible. And so that's what's going to happen. It's not going to happen overnight, right? But yes, there are few technical stuff. If I see it, I'll point it out because I wanted to, be able to correct it. Those things are, fundamental stuff, right? Foundational stuff. And so if I don't correct you right now, it's going to be balanced, carry forward, right? It's going to be balanced, carry forward. You just be, replicating the same thing over and over and over and over as you move forward. So foundational stuff, if I see it, like your storage structure, component, as a user, I want to have the ability to do this so that if I say that all those things are missing, then, we have a problem, right? Such things, I will want to make sure that, you are including this. As for the details, it will come along as we progress and as you learn more, right?
Okay. That's right.
James, you were saying something. You got a question?
No. I said that's very nice. I saw something, right, and this I saw a video when it's the guy putting scenarios even within the user story and preconditions. I'm like, okay, where is this one coming from? Is it new? Like they put in different scenario like successful login, unsuccessful login within the same user story. But I was a little confused. I was like, I'm gonna ask you, how does this apply?
I mean, if you go back to our video, if you go back to our session on acceptance criteria, there are conditions, right?
Okay.
So why can't you have a precondition and then a post condition? You should be able to have that, right? So everything that is necessary for you to be able to validate a story, these are what you include in the story, right?
Okay.
And then that can be under the acceptance criteria, which if you will go back to our session when we treated as acceptance criteria, you will know exactly what acceptance criteria, it should be included in there, right? They are a set of conditions. So given that, so they are preconditions. All these things are basically what we have learned. Given that you are a registered user, that's a precondition. So it's not anything new. What you're saying is not anything new, right? Anytime you use the word giving, so that means, oh, okay, this should pre-exist before I get here. You should be able to sign up as a user. You should be able to be, you have to be a registered user, a member, to be able to do this. Given that, then, right? We've talked about all this, criteria and all these formats when it comes to writing story, right? So there in there, you see that, oh, giving. So that means the same word as, precondition, this should pre-exist, given that I'm a registered user. So set of conditions that should exist before we get over here, right?
Yeah. Thanks.
Yeah. Anything else? It's already 7:01. Maybe one more minute. Anybody? Okay. Thank you, guys. I will see if Kofi can, complete his story tomorrow morning, and then we'll take off from there. And then I think tomorrow the schedule is going to be, we will work on, Kofi will definitely will have some opportunity to finish up with his story. And then we might do decision table. Oh, we might do the agile thing. And then we'll get into decision table. And then maybe, if time permits, maybe some SQL stuff, database. We might get into our database stuff. If time permits again, then we might take our last project as well. So, you guys are becoming gurus, or you guys are becoming experts by the night and by the day. We're going to take our last project, and then I think from that point on, there's going to be some few things. Okay, we need to work on process flow diagrams. Yeah, we need to do that. You guys have to put it somewhere and remind me. Other than I'm going to forget this. There's another critical thing, process flow diagrams. You need to know, and I need to teach you guys, 1 or 2 things on that. So that's it, guys. We will see ourselves again